Howdy folks, Max Mogren here, oilfreefun.com with a MOG vlog. It's the 27th of June 2013. Today talking about climate change and controlled opposition, fake wannabe environmentalism. The debate on climate change is heating up once again, not the conventional debate about CO2. I think most people are pretty well aware that CO2 is not the primary driver of Earth's climate, and there are many other factors in play. Yes, CO2 is a factor. Yes, humans are changing the climate, both intentionally and unintentionally. And CO2 is a factor, but not the primary factor, and certainly not the only factor. Okay? 97% of scientists, they always throw that statistic out, the CO2 zombies. 97% of scientists agree that humans are changing the climate. Yes, humans are changing the climate, but there are more factors at play. Particulates from pollution, right? Geoengineering programs, changing the landscape any number of ways, building dams, stuff like that. Changing where water pools, how it evaporates. There are so many factors at play, and the most important, in my opinion, is the covert geoengineering programs involving stratospheric aerosol spraying and electromagnetic radiation, zapping the atmosphere with microwaves. And I'm going to have to pick on Protect Our Winters again, because they're still just spewing the same old BS, no offense, from a couple months ago, where they want Obama to sign executive orders on the climate, and those orders only focus on CO2. Well, taxing CO2, decreasing CO2 is not going to solve the climate problem, but what it is going to do is drastically enrich the corrupt political class, the parasitic bankster class, and it's going to take power away from sovereign nations and hand it over to a global governance. These carbon taxes are designed to fund global government. I don't know about you, but I think strong local government is more effective at curbing pollution and breeding technological innovation than having one central entity pretending that it knows how to best govern every region of the world. But I digress. Teton Gravity Research is now overtly expressing their support of Protect Our Winters, and it's funny, they came out with this article called Ketchup Soup. It's their new weekly satire spoof page, little article. And last week's article was called Backcountry Skiing Causes Climate Change, and talks about airborne bullshit, ABS, being spewed by backcountry skiers, changing the climate. Well, thanks for writing that article, guys. I got the message. It's nice to know that your perspective is getting through and you're having an impact on people. You've had an impact on me. I respect TGR's skiing ability. I respect their filming ability, their filmmaking ability, and the pioneering role they've played in the ski film industry in promoting snow sports. But that doesn't make them an expert on science. It doesn't make them experts on climatology. And in an era when the mainstream media lies about just about everything, regurgitating the mainstream media's stance on climate change and environmentalism is not true environmentalism. If you guys want to be truly beneficial environmentalists, step up to the plate. But you might lose your Jeep sponsorship. These guys, whether everybody in their organization knows it or not, once you take on big corporate sponsorship like TGR's Jeep sponsorship and all the different ski companies, their message is subject to the laws of the banking cartel and Wall Street. Jeep, if they started spewing about geoengineering, Jeep would drop them like a bad habit, because it's not in Jeep's best interests economically to take on such a controversial and frankly covert government warfare operation topic. So TGR can't touch this issue, but they can make fun of people who hold the controversial opinions and share controversial information on this very crucial topic. Protect Our Winners, same thing. You know, I respect a lot of the athletes there. I respect all of your abilities as riders, but you're not environmentalists. And you need, if you truly are environmentalists, you know, if you want to be environmentalists, you got to step up to the plate too. Okay, carbon taxes are not going to solve climate change. Humans are intentionally manipulating the climate as a political tool and as a weapon. It's called weather warfare. The U.S. White House Office on Weather Modification was founded in '58. JFK in 1961, in front of the UN, proposed further cooperative efforts between all nations in weather observation and eventually in weather control. The U.S. was using silver iodide cloud seeding as a tool of weather warfare for 8 years during the Vietnam War, Operation Popeye. Google it. And the paper trail showing that these technologies have continued to be developed over the last several decades since weather warfare was officially used for the first time is irrefutable. The evidence is in the sky on an almost daily basis. So anybody, you know, any kind of cutting-edge film company or trying to be cutting-edge environmental organization who doesn't acknowledge these facts and doesn't acknowledge the entire situation on climate change is rendering themselves obsolete, and they're making themselves look like jackasses. Okay? I'm trying to do you guys a favor. It's time to step to the plate on this and knock it out of the park, because frankly, you know, I want to protect our winners. And looking at climate change from the purely CO2 perspective is not complete. It's juvenile thinking. It's like when you're a little kid and anytime there's snow on the ground, you want to go skiing. It might be bulletproof ice, top to bottom. Death cookies. It might be the worst snow ever, but that doesn't cross your mind. You just think, oh, there's snow, I can go skiing. Well, as you become more experienced in analyzing the snow, you realize, as you all know, how many different types of snow there are. There's powder, there's sugar, there's corn, there's slush, there's death cookies, there's ice, there's perfect blower champagne powder, right? All these different conditions. Well, think about how complicated an atmospheric system is where that many different kinds of snow exist, right? The atmosphere, the climate, the weather is a lot more complicated than the actions of one greenhouse gas called CO2. CO2 is only 400 parts per million, 480 parts per million in the atmosphere. It's a greenhouse gas. But you know what else is a greenhouse gas? Water. And anywhere from, you know, over the desert there's less water, but in the atmosphere there's between 1% and 3% water in the atmosphere on average, which is a lot more than 500 parts per million, okay? A lot more water vapor, and water vapor is continuously changing state in the atmosphere. You know, water is an amazing molecule because it will evaporate, turn from liquid to gas at room temperature. 32 degrees, it will freeze and form beautiful snowflakes that we love. And at any point in time in Earth's atmosphere, water exists in vapor form, transparent, in cloud and rain form, which is water, liquid water, and then as snow, ice, hail, solid form. So in the atmosphere, water changes between 3 states. It even hits the plasma state when we zap it with just the right resonant frequency of microwaves. But important thing to know is NASA itself acknowledges, and all climate scientists will acknowledge, that clouds and water have a profound impact on the weather and climate. We all know that. Anybody who spends time in the mountains knows that. You know, colder when it's cloudy during the day, warmer when it's cloudy at night. You know, there are a lot of factors at play. Clouds play a complicated role in the atmosphere. But the point is, any program, whether it's unintentional or intentional, that manipulates the states of water in the atmosphere is going to have profound influences on our weather and climate. Humans are changing water's state in the atmosphere with particulates from pollution, with geoengineering, stratospheric aerosols, spraying cloud condensation nuclei in the atmosphere. Anyone who can't see that, what are you doing in the mountains? You're not aware enough to notice that there are unnatural clouds in the sky. You probably shouldn't be out risking your life in the backcountry, because apparently you're not very observant. And additionally, these electromagnetic programs, shooting energy into the atmosphere has an impact on the water up there. Another thing to consider is the fact that planes are flying at 30 to 40,000 feet, where the atmosphere is very, very thin. So when they burn fuel, they emit water and CO2. They emit a whole shitload of water vapor up there, where generally there isn't very much naturally occurring water vapor. And the atmosphere is very thin there, so as a percentage of the overall atmospheric constituents, the water vapor has a significant impact, as does the CO2, but the water vapor changes state. And up high, 30, 40,000 feet, we're seeing more and more of these high cirrus hazes. NASA says these have a warming impact on the climate. At any point in time, there are about 10,000 listed planes in flight around the world, 24/7, 365.25. So, and that excludes military flights. So there are a lot of factors to address in the climate issue. And anybody who only focuses on CO2 is either lying to you or doesn't know the real science, okay? Science is not a belief system. It is a method of inquiry. It is a way of discerning truth and observing reality. So look up. Observe up. Yeah, this one knows how to look up. Smart dog. But that's all I got. Y'all take care. My advice to Ketchup Soup, Ketchup Kook, you're off the ball. You want to satirize me, you want to ridicule me, you're going to have to try a lot harder than that. Take care, everybody. One love. Peace.
Some birds don't deserve to be caged. They gotta fly away and search for the waves. Being locked up is worse than the grave. I live by the words on the page. I know some birds don't deserve to be caged. They gotta fly away and search for the waves. Being held down is worse than the grave. I live by the words on the page. I say I jumped on the planet and I landed on both feet. Tippy-toed across the continent on a dope beat. Settled in the mainland, ghetto by the sand trap. Rock to a hand clap until I got my band back. Thoughts came thick in a ball of confusion, a wall of illusion. It's also amusing. I laughed at the pain sometimes with a straight face. Just another hate case. You control your fate, ace. Long walks down a lonely road, turn path paved. Bask in a cascade. Gray clouds circle me. Tuned to the channel so the energy will work on me. All in the cut like surgery and burned to the 3rd degree internally. Avoiding a waste story. 40 and slip a tongue, trying to bring the poison noise. Step in the spot like I'm not that popular. Eyes like binoculars. I'm so hip popular. Been on the air since Greg had a Mac attack. Now they all crackerjack, that's a fact, smell me. How can you tell me what I haven't already heard? 43, 43rd, listen and observe. First flew the coop when they tried to cage a rockin' bird. Looking for the truth in the booth when I serve. Never clip the wings if they seem a little out of touch. Let them fly free, please don't try to box them up. Some birds don't deserve to be caged. They gotta fly away and search for the waves. Being locked up is worse than the grave. I live by the words on the page. I know some birds don't deserve to be caged. They gotta fly away and search for the waves. Being held down is worse than the grave. I live by the words on the page. I say I open the lock cause I smashed it with brute force. Flew over the roof, headed north on a crash course. Eagle eyes spot 'em all, groundhog peeking out. Speaking out against the whack world while they freaking out. Wasn't supposed to go but I just didn't wanna wait. Ben had a ticket but the Chattanooga's running late. Hate never had a lover good as I've been to her. Couldn't put an end to her cause she got followers. Whole flock of spitters and swallowers. Wow, integrity didn't have a home till I gave him one. Coals and the diamonds, God said save them one. Find a peace of mind like I need it when I hate stack. Grind on the rail on the playback, ready for the A-tack, C-tack. Cry me a riverboat. If I don't fly back, still gotta give them hope. Stand in delivery, first class rain or shine. Painted mine in a Panamine glass shield. Where was your genie when you needed her for real? Building my art from the parts that they overlook. Fuse lit from the last match in the book. Standard adrenaline, pumped through the reservoir. Plucked out the air cause he didn't sit duck. Pretty as the peacock who can't even leave the ground. Let the heart glide on, don't box them up. Some birds don't deserve to be caged. They gotta fly away and search for the waves. Being locked up is worse than the grave. I live by the words on the page. I know some birds don't deserve to be caged. They gotta fly away and search for the waves. Being held down is worse than the grave. I live by the words on the page. I say,
sometimes the truth don't rhyme. Sometimes the lies get millions of views. Funerals for little girls, is that appealing to you? From your cubicle desktop, what a beautiful view. I think love is beautiful too. Building forts from broken dams, what a Hoover could do for future hoopers dead from Ruger. Shooting through the empty alley, could've threw him an alley-oop, helping them do good in school.